Oh, I'm gonna
3
leave.
keys.
I'm gonna leave.
You're not
That's
gonna-
me. You described me already.
Yeah, you're not gonna fight the cameras.
Yeah, but if I'm with you, I'm gonna be like, get him, sis.
Tell us about a moment where you wish you would have said something and you didn't. There's nothing better than this. Say what you mean. 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 Hey, what's up? It's your girl, Aida Rodriguez, and welcome to another episode of Say What You Mean, where people stop by to say what they mean now because they didn't say it before and they should have said it, but they get to say it now and they get to say it here and they get to say it for you. As I do every episode, I like to share a story of myself when I should have said something. And I think this time I'm going to say something to someone who said something to my daughter. And instead of storming out, I should have said something. I was getting my daughter's hair done when she was a little girl. And the person who was doing her hair, which was another Latina, said to me, "Ay, que ponerle un derri porque ella tiene ese pelo muy malo," which means we got to perm her hair because her hair is bad. And instead of addressing it like I should have, I was just so furious that I took my daughter and went. And listen, if I had the opportunity to say to her, I would say, "Mira, mija." Okay, I'm going to say it in English. First of all, there's no such thing as bad hair. Second of all, I don't appreciate you saying this in front of my daughter. And third of all, what kind of a person says that in front of a 7-year-old child? That has something to do with how you feel about yourself. And instead of cussing you out like I normally would, all I wish upon you is that I hope you healed, because that was not cool. All right, let's move on. Yes. Now we're moving on to someone who's very special and dear to me. She's a very talented young woman. But beyond her talent, she is a very, very beautiful human being, which is what makes her even more talented to me. When I talk about her to other people and they mention her and they talk about her stardom and they talk about her talent, I talk about her heart, because from the very first moment that we met, we've been like this. And it's just been instant. She was one of the stars of In the Heights, which I loved her in. Let me listen to my block. She can sing like no other. She's talented. She sings in both languages. And she has an amazing voice. She's super talented. You've seen her in quite a few things, but now she has 2 movies coming out. One is called In the Summers, which was at Sundance, and The Thicket, which is out now. And I think that you should run to Tubi and watch this movie, because I've already seen, I perv on her. So I was watching the trailer and I just saw some stuff and I was like, I got to see this whole movie because I want to see what they got my little baby girl doing. So welcome to the show, Leslie Grace.
Oh my God, Ida. I love you.
I love you too.
I love you.
And I mean it. You know how not Hollywood, I love you.
You have me crying already and we haven't even gotten started.
No.
For real. I love you. I have to say, we have to start just by, I have to let you know how much it means to me, that genuine, I tell you all the time, every time we get to talk, but for real, that genuine, so everybody else could know, this woman, there are very few people that you meet that show you at certain points in your life where you're doing well and you connect with, and they're like, "I'm so happy for you," and in the event or at the premiere or whatever, tell you, I'm here for you, and then you know, you don't really hear them check up on your heart or check up on like how you're actually doing. And you're one of those rare people. And I know you're that to a select few. And I'm just really, really grateful that I'm one of those people that gets that text from you, that gets that call from you. It means a lot to me. And I love you for that. So,
I appreciate it. You know what? This business is like this. It's very, very... It's a tough place. I mean, I've had the same friends for a pretty long time. I've been blessed enough to meet people along my journey. They're here, you know, people that have been real to me and given that to me when I needed it. But, you know, you always know in this town who's your friend when you're quiet. Because when you are out there and people know what's happening and what's coming out, everybody is like, let's go to lunch. lunch. Let's take a picture for the gram, all of that. But when it gets quiet, that's when you know who is real, because they call and say, hey, you good? What's up? How you doing?
What you up to?
Yeah. And we all know that when you're quiet is when you're working.
Yeah.
But the dummies don't know that.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm up to something.
Yeah. You're always working. You're always creating.
Yeah, we
and one of the places I meet with you more than anything is that you're a real artist. This is not about fame and celebrity for you. You actually really love what you do.
I do. I really do. I'm really passionate about what I do. I understand that a lot of people that I love and that love me dearly have done a lot for me to be able to do something that I enjoy to do for a living, and I don't take that lightly. So, I put my all into everything that I do, and I always try to remember in those quiet moments or when I'm not working, where you're just trying to, get the next thing, that it's a part of the process, and that just the privilege of being able to pursue something that you love, that could make you a living is a gift in and of itself that we've gotten to get from the sacrifices of the people that came before us. So I love what I do, and I'm glad that people get to enjoy that.
But you know what? One of the things that that made me feel really connected to you is when I met you, you were with your family, and you had an uncle that was with you.
Yeah.
And you love your uncle.
Always.
And I love my uncles.
Yes.
So I'm an uncle kid, but I was like, everybody here, I know Vanessa's mother. I know her parents. Brian's mom, we haven't met, but we know each other through connection. Alexis's mother is one of my closest friends. And family is very important to me. And when I saw you, you were not, it was like other people were with their family, but they were taking pictures, and they were mom is in the background or dad is, but you was there. They were all there. They were talking to me. Yes. What does family mean to you?
Everything, man. Everything. There's nothing that I'm going to do that my family's not going to be right there. I again, that's a blessing. Not everybody gets to experience that, but that's just how it's always been in our family. And we're all that way about all of our accomplishments. So it's another beautiful gift that I get to share that with my family whenever I can. And sometimes you're not able to, you know how it goes. Sometimes you have to go far and do different gigs and stuff, and you're not able to bring everyone with you. So in the moments that I get to relish in those moments with them, it's it's everything.
I know. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Those of us who love our families.
Yeah.
I love our mamas. It's it's a beautiful thing to be able to share. And it
ain't always sweet either.
No.
But it's because, you go through so much to get to those moments. When you do, it's beautiful.
Now, you have your voice is always the sweetest, right? Even on social media, you are always very kind. You're always very thoughtful. You're encouraging. You're artistic. I never really see you in the mix, with the drama and stuff like that. You have a very good way of getting around it. I mean, it chases us, but you have a good way, where I'm go eat a dick. You're always I want to send.
Thank you.
And then you see her legs crisscross applesauce, and she's like this, next to a wall with a painted flower. And I'm oh, you bitches, I'm putting it on all y'all. It's just a very, I feel sometimes I gotta do it for y'all because y'all, I feel they try to eat y'all alive. But is there a moment where you felt like you should have said something and you wish you would have and you didn't?
Oh man, so many moments. So many moments. I'm just holding onto the chair. So many moments. I have to say, in a bigger sense, I think as from when we're really young, we all are, in some way or at some point in your life are concerned about at least a fitting in or being seen with some sort of value in whatever context you grow up in. And so for young ladies and Latina women, culturally, societally, you learn how to just be okay with certain things or seem or act like you're okay with certain things that really actually aren't okay inside. And so that people pleasing thing, you know, that I think we all deal with to a certain extent, that's something that has been, and I think will be for some time, you know, a lesson for me to unlearn, or like a thing for me to unlearn. And in work environments, for sure. Like, you know, I grew up doing music, loving music, but professionally since I was like 14. And I thankfully had my parents that were there to protect me from a lot of the things that sometimes kids don't have, you know, someone to speak for them. And they were always, they don't come from the industry, but they were always like, nah, we're going to make sure that she's good. And they're always learning how to, you know, be mindful of certain things that maybe other people would have not been. But that also kind of got me accustomed to, if I had an issue with or felt uncomfortable with something, having the buffer of my parents. And when you get older, you don't realize that you haven't learned the skill of speaking up for yourself. And so on sets, on, you know, in interviews, when someone asks you something inappropriate, in your comfortability level with fans asking you things, or, you know, older people in studio sessions when you're writing. I mean, just a number of things. Like, I can't even narrow it down to one. So yeah, in a general sense, for sure, I've learned a lot more of how to find
Speak up
ways,
for yourself.
Find boundaries.
Have you been following Chappelle? Is it Chappelle Roan? What's her name? Chappelle Roan, where she actually went on social media and addressed the fans.
I did see that.
Yeah.
I did see a clip. Someone repost a clip that she said of like, look, I love doing this, but also like, nah, for this. And I would imagine, I understand some of that sentiment, you know, to a certain degree. It's also a personal preference. Like, there's some things that deserve consent and like context, and like all of that matters. And so personally, I do feel like there's a certain level of comfortability that I have with people that come up to me in a certain way, that are, you know, in any setting, that are like, yo, I just really love you in this thing. And if it's respectful, it's beautiful. But it's also perfectly okay, based off of your own life experience that the public doesn't know about, to draw certain boundaries and say, my art is where it ends, and, you know, my day-to-day life is something that I want to keep for myself and my family and my close ones. That's perfectly, I find, like, it's like, if you love them,
Of course. Have you ever felt like somebody overstepped, a fan?
I think when I was younger, I was in a lot of settings where, like, for shows and things like that, like, at 16, by then I was already doing gigs in like places that like a 16-year-old, you know, wouldn't be doing. I was a young female singing bachata, which is male dominated in general. And so older, you know, when it would come to the meet and greet time, like older dancers and men and stuff like that, like just holding you or feeling like it's okay without warning, you know, greeting you in a certain way, or, you know, surprising you. Like it was there was definitely scenarios that I felt uncomfortable, that I was just like, oh, at that time I was like, I'm a bigger person, that I could take this gracefully and just know that this is uncomfortable, and I'll be looking out for that next time. But in hindsight, it's like, now I know how to not even be in that position, and how to make people around me aware that this should not even be a thing.
Yeah, I think most women would have a story like that, especially in this entertainment business, because the fact that people feel more comfortable with women because they feel like they can touch you, they can grab you. You know, I've had people grab me by my arm and say, I'm not done talking yet.
Yeah.
And I feel like we are always trying, not always, but many of us have been conditioned to take the high road and to be the bigger person. But sometimes it requires to say, hey, get your hands off of me.
No.
You know?
Yeah. Boundaries are required. And also that is a high road. It's like some people really need to know, haven't been shown limits from people in certain positions. So it's important at the end of the day. Only you is looking out for you. So
yeah, no, I feel sometimes that it's important to find the words, because I think some people, but the problem is that some people don't hear the words. So there's some people that just can't receive it.
Oops.
It's okay.
Right over your, goes right over their head.
So I saw a clip of you in the thicket, and I saw. Speaking of what we're speaking of, because in there we're talking about ownership, a man owning you, and another man trying to help you set you free.
Yeah.
Tell me about that character. And
yeah, Jimmy Sue. That's actually a beautiful segue into that character and things that I learned about like strength and being a woman in a very different time. Jimmy Sue is a character that gets taken in this film by a man and basically conned, like early catfish, basically. She's like meets up to go. I don't want to give too much away, but she goes to the town square to meet someone for a date from an ad in the paper, and someone shows up and actually takes her. And the person that is trying to help her in that scene that you saw, Jack, who Levon Hawk plays, who's incredible in this. He's unbeknownst to her, sees her when she gets taken, and he's also looking for his sister, who was taken by a very bad person in this script. But she is like learning how to find her strength and her own autonomy in a time where autonomy for women, it was just like not thought of at all. Your value actually is you serve, as best as you can serve man, like that's your value. And especially in the setting that she ends up in the saloon when Jack finds her. So she ends up being an ally. They end up getting out of there. She ends up escaping and becomes an ally to the guys that are trying to help Jack find his sister. And he sees his sister in her, and that's why he tries to help her. But what I learned from her character was that she not only is able to find her own autonomy, but value in things aside from what we usually see women in film and in life be applauded for. It's beautiful that in this setting, in a Western that's very different from Westerns that we've seen, we get to see a woman like kind of hold her own, where usually we'll see a damsel in distress being saved, and in that scene you kind of see that she has a different kind of strength in her, even though he's trying to save her, but she's like, nah, like I know what I have to do, and you see that carry out throughout the film. So
The Thicket is available. You can see it now. It is streaming on Tubi, and I want you to watch it, and I want you to come to the comment section and let me know what you think about it. And I, first of all, congratulations, because you're always working, and I think that's great for you. I wanna share this story with you. So we have a segment called "You Should Have Kept That," and it's some people reach out to us via email, social media, or our mailing list, and they send us messages, moments where they felt they said too much. Do you remember one of those moments where you should have just kept it?
Oh yeah, for sure. My mom, something I said probably to my mama that almost made her kill me. Making fun of her Spanish in front of people, or her English in front of people. Oh. She's watching this right now. Sure, like, Te mato.
The Dominican moms don't play that.
My mom, I'm a salon girl. My mom owns a couple salons as growing up, so that was kind of like the family business. And me and my older sister, man, that was my first job in the salon. We would, most of the time help her. Sometimes when she would get, my mom speaks English fine, but she speaks with an accent. So sometimes we would help her when she would get stuck on a word. Like I would get stuck on a word in Spanish, and it would be fine. But sometimes it would just be so funny that it'd be like, and we'd forget that, like, oh, mom's feelings actually might get hurt, for real. And then she would get mad, and we'd be fearing for our life. So that's just one of the times.
I met your mom, so I would be afraid too.
Yeah. You see it in her eye.
That my mom is deadly too. So I haven't read these. They come as they come. So I'm going to share with you. So we'll talk about it. A good friend autographed a book and gave me a copy to read. I read it like a good friend. They asked me how it was, and I responded, "It's great. I'm glad you're getting it edited because I wrote a book. I'm like, wait, is this my friend? I'll read it again. A good friend autographed the book and gave me a copy to read. I read it like a good friend. They asked me how it was, and I responded, "It's great. I'm glad you're getting it edited before it goes to print."
Oh my God.
And it was already in stores.
No!
Vanessa! It be your old friends.
It be your old friends.
It was not your book.
Nothing. It was not your book. Why you got a vivid memory of her doing that?
This is so funny because
That is hilarious.
there's a whole movie about this that Julia Louis-Dreyfus was in.
Wait, what?
That it's called "You Hurt My Feelings," and her husband she overheard her husband talking about how her book wasn't good, and that caused a major rift in their marriage. And it's actually a really funny movie, but it's not a comedy.
You Hurt My Feelings is called?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I can imagine
it was in like doing the for your consideration for an
Got
Oscar.
it.
They had a campaign, and she said,
need to see this.
she overheard him talking about how he didn't really like the book, and she didn't say anything. She started sleeping on the couch, and
Because she heard the whole truth of
this
what
is
he thought.
quite triggering.
Yeah, that's really triggering. Especially if the person, well, in this case, at least the person told them. But like when they tell you something and then you hear that what they actually thought. Sips on that.
You see that wounded.
That one cut deep. That one cut deep for sure.
You know, it doesn't matter. You always think it's you. Like, I was like, did I send my book out before? Oh my God. I never, you know what's funny? I laugh at somebody I know, that's not my friend, that their gift to us was their book. And I was like, that feels so, I have never given anybody a book that didn't ask me for it. Like, here guys, like that. I just think that's so brave.
Right.
Because I don't know. I just feel, I know they watching, they're gonna follow me. But it feels like, I don't know. I have I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's confidence to be able to do that. I just feel like, of course, I put the book in gift bags for events and stuff like that. But to be like, ta-da! Here's my life story.
You're welcome.
Yeah, turn to page 78. That's where I got molested.
That's what I'm hearing.
No,
like, you're welcome. Wait till you get to page.
Yeah, I've never been able to do that.
Man.
So I'm sure it was not me. But for a moment there,
It made you think. It made you pause.
Lord. Yo.
Oh my
so
God.
we're about to do this thing called the lightning round.
Okay, I suck at lightning rounds. I'm just letting you know. I gotta preface it right now.
No. Look, this is we get to know you a little better. It's not that hard. It's not that bad. Like smash or pass. All you can eat or a buffet.
Oh, see, this is what happens every time I get a lightning round. I go, and I take 5 hours. I'm gonna go buffet.
I was like, you so nice. You don't want to piss the buffet people off.
You see, I started overthinking it.
Would you rather fly or drive?
Drive.
What's your favorite drink at the bar?
Ooh, spicy tequila something.
Oh, okay.
Like a spicy marg or like.
Fight or flight? 3 Karens. 3 Karens.
Fight or flight? Mm-hmm. What do you mean?
Are you gonna fight them or are you gonna leave?
Oh, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave. That's me. You already described me already.
Yeah, you're not gonna fight the Karens.
Yeah, but if I'm with you, I'm gonna be like, get him, sis. And I'm gonna be right next to you, but I'll be like, get him, sis.
It feels like it's like rolling with a Caleb, my daughter. My daughter is like, I don't fight.
Yeah.
She's like, but my mom.
But yeah, I got my mom though. Did you see? That's actually, I think there's a connection there.
Yeah.
Because yes, when you grow up with a mom that will fight for you.
I mean, no, it's just that we did so much so you wouldn't have to go to what we went through. Now y'all just a bunch of punk. Like, I just be like, I don't do that. I take the high road. And you like, you
get high road.
Yeah, I be poking at you scared. You scared. Just say you scared.
Yup. Yeah.
Now, this question is a question that we love to ask. We close all the shows with this because everybody has.
Don't tell me it's over.
Everybody lights up.
No.
You listen, it's almost over. You got some juice? You gonna tell us something? Tell us who you hate in this business. Last thing we want to
keep this
know.
going for. I'm trying to keep my answers short so that
I want to know who you hate. I want to know. I'll fight him. You ain't got to fight him.
I can't say that. I can't. You know. I'll let everybody else wonder.
You are in a safe space. These are all hooligans. Everybody here, everybody will fight. You don't even have to worry about nobody. You say it.
Exactly.
Do you know our favorite line is, I wish a mother would. Yo!
I know you would fight for me. Ugh.
No,
I can't say that. It's
No.
all love for everyone out there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because, look, I have to say, for sure, I have things that I've learned that I would do differently, that I would say, I wish I said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, in hindsight's 2020. But I'm also a firm believer that all things work for the good of those who are called, who God calls according to his purpose, And so that for me is like, all right, even though I've learned what I know now, I know that it ends up working out. But one thing that I will say this too, one thing that I have learned from unpacking people pleasing is that just because you know it's all going to work out in your favor, doesn't mean that you have to compromise at any point to in any context to a point where you'll feel you regret or it's causing you actual personal hurt. You have to overcome that fear with courage to speak up and allow people to show up in the way that you need them to, and that's hard to learn. That might not mean that you get exactly what you need every time, but you don't have to in the end feel like the layers of like, oh, I was applauded for compromising in every scenario that I got something in my life. That's hard to unpack.
You see how when you get these new people, they be reading books about self-esteem. That's why I like the older people with trauma that are angry. No, I love that you're saying this. So if you had to say one thing to your favorite teacher, what would you say?
Ooh. Thank you. Thank you for believing in me and having faith in me. I have a teacher that allowed me into like a class that I wasn't basically technically supposed to be in my chorus class, an advanced chorus class, and that was the only spot that was available, and I was definitely not advanced. I didn't know how to read music, none of that. But again, my mother showed up to the to the counselor. I was like, she does this for real. Here's her demo CD, and then it came down to that teacher really allowing me into that class when the counselor spoke to them, and he did, and I, he became one of like the pivotal people in my early academic life that really gave me faith and belief in myself that I could learn new things.
Where are all these teachers at? Because I just remember the lady who kept popping me in the head with the big fat pencil. Where are these teachers at that said, you can dream, girl, I believe in you? Where they at? Oh my goodness.
They knew school too.
Man.
They started cracking down on these teachers.
Yeah, they got better teachers. Well, we had some good teachers. My favorite teacher, of course, Mrs. Sylvia Roll.
Yeah, who's your favorite teacher?
Miss Sylvia Roll. She's not with us. Okay. She's graduated from this life, but she was my 5th grade teacher. And the best teacher I ever had, I adored her. She popped up at my graduation. I didn't know she was going to be there. And she was like, I would never miss you. I absolutely adored her. I asked her to steal me from my mother. I was like, can you please take me home with you? They beating me. Every day I would tell her all these kinds of things to try to get me to take her. Yes, and she was like, I cannot take you.
And your mom was like, sí, ahí, que tú vas bien.
Yeah, you already know. The thing about Miss Rose, she never had children. And when I got older and I went back to see her, she said, all of y'all were my children.
Wow.
It was very sweet, but I realized that she was like, I sent all y'all home, and then I got peace at the crib. So I rest in peace, rest well, Queen Sylvia Roll, the most beautiful lady I've ever seen in my life. That was a teacher. I want everybody to know how they can find you.
Yeah. Absolutely. You can find me on Instagram, on all the socials at Leslie Grace. And you can find me on Spotify too if you want to listen to some of my music, Leslie Grace. Just look it up. There's a bunch of music. New music is coming out soon too. I've been working a lot on that in between projects. So I know everybody, all the fans online been getting on me like, when's music? Mm-hmm. So yes, been working on music. It will come soon. Can't say what dates yet, but
the youngest hippie I know, right here. Ah! This girl been here before, and she was here in the '60s. She be like, yeah. She's so. Every time you see her, you want to levitate. You on her page. You're like, oh Lord, look, I want to be writing. Let me get off her page. I need some.
That's so. I love that. I love that. That's the feeling because I work a lot to be at that place on myself, and I'm grateful that I could take the time to do that.
Yo, I'm so excited for you. These two movies as just the beginning, it doesn't matter if it didn't come out. You are forever Batgirl. Yes. Yeah, our Dominican, beautiful Batgirl. And your Batgirl is going to come out in a different form the way it's supposed to come out. And you are a superhero because there are little girls que son dominicanas que te ven a ti. They look at you and they say, I can do this. And that's a superpower and it's beautiful.
Thank you.
And so I want everybody to go to Tubi right now and skip past that movie where the dude is filming in his own bathroom in the mirror and you can see all the angles. Because Tubi is changing. And watch The Thicket and go to Leslie's page and tell her how much you love her because she is truly a gifted artist and she deserves to have that.
Thank you.
The celebration. I want to say thank you for joining us on another episode of Say What You Mean. We want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to Leslie Grace and thank you for you. This is another episode of Say What You Mean. Catch up with us on socials. We are at SWYM Pod on TikTok, Instagram, and X. If you are watching this, click the subscribe button. We want to hear from you in the comments section. Tell us your stories about those moments where you wish you would have said something or you should have kept that. If you are listening, download the episode, become a member, do whatever you need to do, and tell a friend because we want to continue to grow this village. We are so excited to be a part of yours, and we are excited for you to be a part of ours. My name is Aida Rodriguez. This is Say What You Mean. We are out.